Hi, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor. Thanks for checking me out. Today, obviously, everyone's on the internet all talking about the coronavirus. I did talk about this briefly in a meme that it was, in another time stream, we had the novel coronavirus, and then first one it was coronavirus, so you could see the names seemed to be different. You could say, hey, it's the same name, whatever. Doesn't bother me. But it just seemed like it was a different time stream for a second there. Anyway, the thing that I wanted to add to everybody's information is that, when I was really got to an awakening point in 2010, and I heard this voice that said to me, "You are toxic." And then I got the video that was about being toxic. Actually, I got an email along with the voice a few minutes later, and the video had information about not that I was toxic per se, but that my environment was toxic. So I started sharing information with a lot of people about toxicity in our environment, how we have the particulates in the air and the fluoride in the water. And at that time, really nobody was out there that I knew of talking about toxicity, in everything. And I went through and I came to that point where I wanted to get more, see what, God was, why God said that to me. So I ended up cleaning up my body, spiritual, of course, always working on, but I cleaned up my body. So I stopped eating so much, red meat, and choosing, if I was going to eat red meat, what kind of red meat it was, and trying to not get any red meat. So I know a lot of people want to talk about that for a moment. Say, hey, eating meat. It, like Jesus said, if someone brings you food and they put it in front of you, and you go into somebody's home and they offer you food, I'm not going to disrespect their house and say, I'm not going to eat this. So, but you have to trust the people that you're with. And the bottom line is, Jesus said this as well, what you put into your mouth doesn't make you, bad. It's what comes out of your mouth. So with that said, there's so much really bad things we have now. We have nanoparticles in shampoo. So it's so important to clean up, you as a person. So what I did, I ended up taking out the silver, they call it silver fillings, the amalgams in my teeth. And it wasn't that expensive. You're supposed to go see someone that's really good, knows what to do. But, I prayed on it and went to my dentist and said, hey, I want these taken out. He's like, it's going to cost you like $1,000 take them all out, because I had I think 4 on each side in the back. A lot of people do from my age group. They just put them in. And it was like you had one cavity and they would just put them in. It's horrible, right? And what happens is every time you bite down, it would give you like a micron of mercury comes out of these silver amalgams, and it goes into your bloodstream and screws you all up, right? So I said, no, I want them out. So he said, well, I could do it for like $400 and it's off your insurance. You have to pay for it out of pocket. But if you don't do painkillers and no Novocaine or anything. I said, sure, that's fine. So I went through it, and you know what? It was a few months after that that the silver fillings taken out, and I started working out a lot, and I used to get sick, like everybody, and relatives get sick, so I get sick 3, 4. I remember my friends would joke with me, "Oh, Victor's sick again." So I get sick. I was getting sick, 4 times in a winter, and it was just like, you get the cold, you get the flu, you get this, you get that, and then it's like, So I started cleaning up, drinking, clean water, And now you could get a filter on for water. It takes out the fluoride, which wasn't supposed to be able to happen. So then maybe that's a Mandela effect, but you can get one. It's like $40. So you get the filter and you do all those things, and work out, keep yourself healthy, think healthy thoughts. And last year I got sick, so it was weird because I don't get sick anymore, but I got sick because I was in a really negative environment. So when I was in that negative environment, I lowered my immunity. I switched jobs, and this job was horrible, and it was really bad, really negative. And I quit, and I went back to my old job. I was like, I'm not going to do this. And as soon as I quit, I got better. So it's like, you lower your vibration with people who are around you who are so negative and so stressful. I mean, I was working, 8:30 in the morning till, 9, 10 at night, and going back the next day. It was just nonstop stress. Anyway, so the point of this is, besides that one instant, since that happened a year ago where I got sick, and it was crazy because what I'm saying is, once I cleaned up and I detoxified myself, I was trying to work on detoxifying my pineal gland. Once I worked on that a lot, I stopped getting sick. So besides that one instance, I haven't been sick in almost 10 years. So I haven't had any illness, any sniffles, nothing. So like, there's people around me now, family members, everybody around me, they'll always be getting sick. Oh, I got the flu, I got the cold, I have this, I have that. And I don't get sick. So the reason I'm sharing this message is that everyone's scared about the coronavirus. And my point is, if you keep your vibration, high enough, if you detoxify yourself, it's going to really help you to not be sick. Now, according to the numbers from everybody, if 100 people get in contact with someone who's infected with the coronavirus, like I think it was 15 people out of the 100 would die, and the rest would be sick, and some of them very sick. So it's really high transmission rate, right? What they leave out is the people that just don't get sick at all. That's certainly possible. And if you want to be someone that doesn't get sick, then follow this advice. So detoxify yourself now. Eat well. Drinking lowers your immunity. Smoking pot, listen, it lowers your immunity. I know all the potheads don't want to hear that, but it's true. Doing drugs lowers your immunity. Drink mostly water. Like I said, don't drink alcohol, don't smoke, work out, do all those things that you wanted to do in your life. You're like, imagine if I didn't smoke, how healthy I would be. So make yourself more healthy. The fact is, coronavirus will affect you and really hurt you if you're already sick. So if your body's fighting off an infection, then if you have something else like another, and this gets you, it's like you're gone, right? So you want to keep yourself in tip-top shape. So I just wanted to share this information. In my last video, I talked about the 100 fallen angels. So I basically called it. I mean, that's why I talked about it. I said there's 100 fallen angels, and then one of them certainly is the cause of the coronavirus. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Now, am I saying that? Yeah, I'm saying that it could have been, according to research I did, and I wanted to say, because I'm so, detoxified, I'm so clear-headed, I could spend like 10 minutes, researching something, and I'll basically vibrate to the information you want, and you look through it, and then you get that information. So I could, in 10 minutes, with other people, like I'll get the information that I really want. It's like getting to a big book, and people have to read the whole book, to get it. And meanwhile, I could go to the book, and then I'll open up to page, 333, and I'll open that and then read that, section and be like, and then understand the whole it condenses. So, I get that, you could go through all this information about it. And I was one of the first people to break the information that there was a patent on the coronavirus. I understand. Now, I don't purport to be a doctor of, who studied the coronavirus. I'm not coming out with saying that. So I think everybody has to do their own research. But what I came to, I understand that there are patents out, and who did the patents, and why they're doing the patents. And then, you follow the money trail and find out where all these things, came from. It's certainly important. I believe that in Wuhan, there was a, biological center that they were testing these diseases, and I went back and traced it back to Canada as another one, and they released it was like espionage. They might have took the information, took that vials, put them on a plane, brought it to the Wuhan testing facility, and they're developing these in viruses, and one got out, right? Let's put it nicely that could have came out that way. I don't believe it came out and in some market. I think that's been, most people would agree that that's incorrect. And this is a, scary virus because it has an incubation period. And I just thought it was interesting that there's a, the Mayans had this death cult, and they had this god of death that was called, it was a bat god called Chalmez. And, this coronavirus is a bat-based virus, so it's like the death, it's like the death god, coming at. So it's like, what I was saying about 100 of those angels falling in my last, video, which is documented. The stars came down, and those, one of those angels, could have affected the people at the lab to help that to, come out. Then people don't understand, things, and say, well, that happened, your timeline's off, and it wouldn't have happened that way because the timeline's different. That would have been like, that was 2 months ago the coronavirus came out, and your video came out a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I understand. I also understand about timelines and how time is, malleable. So, that's what I talk about in my other videos about, we talked about timelines. So it doesn't mean that it can't affect it in the past. If you're talking about spiritual being, they're not anchored in just one frame of moment of time. That's why they're higher dimensional. You try to talk to people who are trapped in 2D, and that's all you see is 2D. This channel's about higher dimensional stuff. So. And I talk about scientific facts relating to the higher dimensional stuff. So, and there's so many detractors out there that are in 2D and nasty individuals with me. Wow. Disrespectful. That really makes me not want to do any videos, just how disrespectful people are in general. And everybody has an opinion, and everybody knows better, of course, than me, and wants to correct me all the time. And listen, I don't need to do these videos and put them out there. I think it's for your benefit to watch them. It's not for my benefit to do them. Do you understand the give and take here. I think it's more beneficial to people who watch the video than me to do them. People, I post a lot of truth. I take a lot of take a lot of negativity from people, and they're like, oh, you try and just promote your website all the time and everything. I'm like, really? Is that what you think? Is that what you think? I do everything I'm doing basically for free. I tell people if they want to donate, they can. Especially with, distance healing. I always say it's free. If you want to donate, you can. I don't go out and say, hey, I need $500. And then, people are so cynical, so horrible about everything to me. It's kind of shocking when you get in this, higher, loving state, and you're like, oh, I got to bring this out to humanity. This is awesome. And then you bring it out and people are just like, bam, and trash you. It's amazing. I don't want to just cater to that lower vibrational state, those people. I don't want to, give them a spotlight, but I have to say something. I mean, I wanted to do some more videos. It just I get so much negativity, especially on my channel. It's amazing. And then I see these other, spiritual teachers doing videos. Nothing. I don't see it. I don't think they deleting it either. I just see everybody's, oh, and you know what it is? They're saying what you want to hear. They're saying the stuff that you want to, that it's easy to believe in, I'm saying the harder truths, and then people are like, no, he can't be right. He's wrong. He's definitely this. And, today somebody said, oh, you have to watch out. You don't want to be satanic. You have to worry. You don't want to be new age. You don't want to say that. I'm just saying the truth. And the truth is truth. And I don't worry about. I don't have to worry. I'm in alignment. I'm on the side of good. I know that. It's when you start believing you're on the other side, that's when it screws you up. And that's what the devil wants. He wants to convince you you're on the wrong side. He wants to say, hey, you're a bad guy. You're this, you're that. And then if you feed into it, and you believe it a little bit, and then, things screw up, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why. And it's like a self-fulfilling, prophecy. But, there's no way, I'm just being positive, being good, trying to do the right thing. And all of us are fallen, we're all in a negative, state, but it's through Jesus when, by his example do we, rise up, So he's an example in my life. So people ask me, how do you do healings? I said, Jesus said, by my example, you could do miracles like me and even greater miracles than me. So, if it wasn't for Jesus' example, how to do, a healing, I would never even thought really of doing healings. But being that, I have Jesus' example in my life, then I'm like, okay. And then I read, the text. I read the Bible. I read it a lot. And then you come across sections where it says, when Jesus was filled with the Spirit and somebody grabbed his robe. And I understand pastors, I understand everything. And they say, 12 years and all that means 12 tribes of Israel. I'm talking a little fast now. I'm not going to break it all down, but I understand. But when he said, the Spirit came, somebody grabbed my robe and Spirit came out of me. So, when you get to the point where you're meditating, you're praying and everything, you feel filled with the Holy Spirit, and I do a healing with somebody else, and then I feel it, you feel that drain out of you, then oh, wait, this is real. This isn't fake. And then the other person on the other end is healed. And then you're like, okay, and when this happens hundreds and then thousands of times, you don't question anymore, So, people come out against me and say, oh, you're fake, you're this, you're that, you're this. Yeah, save the drama for your mama, okay? I don't care. I'm not out to impress you. I'm not out to change your mind. I really don't care less. Don't believe anything. That's fine. It doesn't bother me in the least. I'm not here trying to change anybody's idea. I'm not trying to, you know, and I'm like doing the opposite. I'm not trying to prove anything for you. I have proof I could show that would be proof. I don't need to. I don't want to. I like people's doubt. I like people who have faith. That's what Jesus did, and I'm following his example. Okay, that's what I'm following. So Jesus didn't go out and say, "Hey, I did this. Look at me. Look at me." That's not what I'm doing, and I'm not doing that in this video. I'm using myself as an example to try to get some information out there so you understand what I'm trying to do. I'm using myself always as an example and Jesus as an example because those are the examples that I have to bring out to you. I could use other teachers as an example too. It's not ego-based. I'm just trying to get information out there. So to go back what I was saying, bring yourself to a higher state. One of the things is this Hoff method of breathing. I talked about this before, but breathe in and out 30 times. Do that 30 times, okay? When you do that 30 times in a row, you're over oxygenating your body. You're blowing out all those negative toxins, and it allows you not to be sick. They actually did this study, and they took 16,000 people, and they took this bacteria, and they injected them, and they took a control group, and they said, okay, well, there was a control group. Then they said, okay, this group that they used, and they did the breathing method, and that group did not get sick, okay? So that group did not get sick, and they're like, wait, you breathe 30 times deep in and out and you didn't get sick. Huh? And so this guy was like, what? Like doctors, they don't share this. They're not sharing this, but it's out there. And if if you're into stuff like me, you research it and you're like, oh, so I'm on here giving you this information for free. So how to raise your vibration, how to be less toxic, because God told me that, and I'm relating it to you. So now you can actually be less toxic, and certainly in toxic relationships. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about physicality and how to clean up, your act. Okay, not dyeing your hair. Okay, because that could give you cancer. So many things in our environment. You have to look at what the label, read all the labels, and try to eat healthy. Everybody says not processed food, so I'm skipping over a lot of that stuff. Then people ask me, how do I clean up my pineal gland? I don't know. Google it. There's so many websites on how to do that. Eat a little coca, walnuts, almonds are good, nuts are great. Virgin olive oil is really good to clean up your pineal gland. Spirulina is a good thing. It has high, eating a lot of vegetables, working out a lot, sweating. You want to make sure you sweat every day when you work out. You don't want to just work out. You want to just sweat. When you're dripping with sweat, then you had a good workout. You're flushing your body with the water's flushing through all your pores. You're cycling through. You're flushing all those cells. All those cells are they're getting flushed through. You want to fast. I talked about this ad nauseum. So you want to fast like once a week. Now's a really good time to do a 3-day fast. And people fast. You will your body's gonna cycle through your body and eat all that dead cells, and it's building up your immune system. So now would be a good time for that as well. Just giving you some ideas on helping you, and certainly praying and staying away from negative, influences. And a lot of times I'm on the web too, and people are saying I'm sharing, truth or hard truth, and share something about coronavirus, and like, oh, you're part of the dark agenda. You're part of the dark agenda. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, because you're sharing this, you're being negative. If I'm telling you a truth, and if you don't want to hear it, and you think it's a hard truth to take in, I'm not being negative. I'm giving you the truth. If I, get information about, the coronavirus, I think it's okay to share it. And I'm not trying to scare you. I don't believe in panicking people, but I believe that it's important to know the truth. So if I'm sharing something, I'm not part of a dark agenda. If I'm talking about the coronavirus, I'm not out, to panic people. I think it's okay to be in a controlled way to have your knowledge, information about it, and then be more proactive, versus not being proactive. So I mean, information's power, so I'm trying to empower people. They're saying, oh, I've been getting that a lot lately, and I see that. Oh, you're part of a dark agenda because you brought this up. Oh, like, okay, I understand. The occult means hidden information. So if I'm bringing information out, then I'm bringing information about the occult out. That's what occult means, hidden information. So if I'm bringing information that was hidden from you before, then you're saying, oh, okay, the messenger is the bad guy. He must be the bad guy. When I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I'm just bringing you the information out, trying to help. So anyway, I just had to say that because I've been getting a lot lately, a lot on the web, a lot. People say, oh, you're part of the dark agenda because you talked about, hidden stuff like, you told us UFO was, a secret, and that's just people trying to, hide things from you. Okay, since I saw a UFO once when I was young, I know they're real. So, 1 out of 4 Americans admits to seeing a UFO. 1 out of 4. Think about that. It probably is. My guess is 2 out of 4, if not 3 out of 4. If everybody's being honest, that they've all seen UFOs. So, I mean, if 25% of everybody you meet, 1 out of 4 people have seen a UFO, everybody's just scared and not talking about it, and they don't know what to make of it, so they don't say anything. They want to be ridiculed. So if I put myself out there, then you're setting yourself for ridicule, which is just totally, unfair. But I'm a big boy, so when I found out when I was 8 and I saw that UFO, then people, I noticed that everything was, everybody's hiding the information about it and nobody's talking about it. Then I knew everything was corrupt from that age. I mean, I knew. And that's all it takes. All it takes is seeing one and you go, yeah, a bunch of friggin' liars, because I can't be the only one on the whole planet that saw one. And I know many of you want to probably comment on this video. I saw one too. I'm sure you did, Oh, I've been abducted. I don't, when I hear that, I'm like, okay, I don't want to go down that road. I don't know why, but it just seems like, I don't know. A lot of people use these kind of stories to aggrandize themselves, and, which I'm not into. But anyway, I talked a lot. It's been 28 minutes, but I wanted to get the information out there about how to raise your vibration so you don't get sick. Meditating certainly helps. I have a website, victorhamsa, HMSA.com. I post the information for free. I have a website on it. I talked about Hamsa breathing, and the Hamsa breathing can help you to raise your vibration. It's another breathing method and exercise. So it's conscious breathing, and you could do that wherever you go. So you could be consciously breathing and be meditating and at your job, and people won't know around you that you're actually meditating. It's awesome. So anyway, try it and let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share. All right, thanks. Don't be sick. Raise your vibration. You won't get sick. Everybody, listen, people don't want to do it. Okay, you won't. And you take your chances. If you do the best you can, and that's all you can. So if you did all the things else you can to help yourself, do this, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I didn't get sick. Everybody else got sick. I was always struck by one last thing. I was struck by a story that I heard once at the horrible Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I believe it was in Nagasaki when they dropped the atomic bomb. There was, I remember hearing a story about this guy, one guy at Ground Zero, who was the spiritual guy, and I guess he was praying. I think he said in the story I read once, and I corroborated it. It wasn't like a fake story. So like he was praying, or he was like filled with the Holy Spirit, and the atomic bomb hit, devastating. He was at Ground Zero, and you know what it did, and he didn't have a scratch on him, and he did not have any radiation sickness at all. And that just shows like the level of protection that God can give you. I just wanted to share that. So he was at Ground Zero. The atomic bomb dropped right next to him. I mean, blew up everything, and then he was just like fine. Nothing happened to him, and he went out and tried to help people that got hurt. After that, he was there, and he did not get any radiation illness, anything. So anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Keep your vibration high, my friends. Peace out.